In the United States, there is no uniform way in which energy is provided to Americans. Typically, Americans get their power from an electric membership corporation, which are not-for-profit member-owned utilities, a municipal utility, such as one run by a city, or a private company. Despite a lot of Americans receiving their power through municipal utilities and EMCs, energy infrastructure is largely owned by private entities. In fact, more than 80% of America's energy infrastructure is owned by the private sector. In many states, private energy companies operate as regulated monopolies, meaning one company has exclusive control over electricity in a region in exchange for being regulated by the state. But what happens when the regulating bodies meant to protect citizens fail to do their job and uphold their end of the bargain? Today we'll be taking a look at Georgia Power, a subsidiary of Southern Company, the largest energy provider in the Southeast, covering territory in Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi. Georgia operates under a regulated monopoly model, where customers are served by one utility provider assigned based on location. This means Georgia residents generally have no choice when it comes to their electricity provider. This also means that for residents who happen to live in Georgia Power territory, Georgia Power can increase rates on them nearly as they please. It's a power GP has used to its full advantage, especially with the Plant Vogtle nuclear expansion. Georgia Power and its partners recently completed the Plant Vogtle nuclear plant southeast of Atlanta near Waynesboro, Georgia, which is the first new nuclear plant in the US in more than 30 years. Georgia Power is the largest investor in the project. Georgia Power boasts that the plant will produce carbon-free electricity to 1 million homes for the next 60 to 80 years. So nearly endless renewable energy for decades to come? What's the catch? Well, when you dig into the details, the story gets a lot messier. Unfortunately, due to a mix of design, contractor, supply chain, and project management issues, Plant Vogtle's costs skyrocketed. What began as a $14 billion project in 2009 ballooned to a staggering $35 billion by the time it was finished. A jaw-dropping 150% over budget. For context, that's $5 billion more than the entire GDP of the country of Georgia. The debacle led Georgia Power to pay out a $413 million settlement to its construction partners. So did Georgia Power's investors go under after this historic mismanagement? Not exactly. In December of 2023, Georgia Power's lawyers went before Georgia's Public Service Commission, the state regulating body tasked with overseeing utility companies, and argued that $7.6 billion in extra project costs should be passed on to Georgia residents through increased monthly fees in their power bills. The Public Service Commission is a quasi-judicial state agency made up of 5 elected commissioners, none of whom live in Georgia Power territory. And while impartiality is supposed to be a cornerstone of any judicial body, this one struggles to uphold it. So when it came time to decide who should foot the bill of this mess, the investors or the public, what did the commissioners choose? Instead of holding Georgia Power accountable and making shareholders clean up their own mess, the PSC allowed Georgia Power to extend their construction schedule from 7.5 years to 14 years, and allowed the company to pass over 90% of the costs onto consumers. That's more than $31 billion shifted onto the backs of Georgia residents. That works out to about $168 in extra charges per household each year, with this number expected to rise over the coming years. As the GCV Investigation Fund put it bluntly, why did the Public Service Commission allow this deal? Because the Georgia PSC is captured by the utility they regulate, which Georgia Power likes to term as constructive regulation, but which really means giving Georgia Power whatever they ask for. As it turns out, the very lawyers who argued Georgia Power's case before the PSC, they've donated tens of thousands of dollars to the campaigns of the commissioners making these decisions. In order to fly under the radar of the $8,400 campaign contribution limit, Troutman Pepper lawyers split donations amongst their team. These limits haven't stopped the contributions from flowing. In fact, just these 3 lawyers alone have donated nearly $50,000 to the 5 commissioners. Add in 14 other attorneys at Troutman Pepper, plus the firm itself, and the total rises to a staggering $121,727. The fattest cat of them all is Commissioner Tricia Pridemore, originally appointed by Governor Kemp in 2016 after serving as a political operative on his re-election campaign. Commissioner Pridemore was first elected in 2020 after receiving thousands from corporate interests. Here's Commissioner Pridemore having the audacity to grill a constituent who dared to question expert witnesses who were paid by Georgia Power to be at a PSC hearing and confirm their narrative.
Mr. Chairman, may I?
Sure.
How much are you paid, Mr. Kranovitz?
Nothing.
And who are your members? Who do you represent?
I represent real estate investments.
You represent real estate investors?
I do.
Can you get us a list of those members that you represent?
If you want to, I can.
Yes, I would like that. I
Okay.
would like that before you could appear tomorrow.
As the saying goes, every accusation is a confession. In the end, Georgia Power's investors get to profit off of carbon-free energy for generations while ratepayers cover nearly all the costs. What a deal. So if the Public Service Commission is failing to hold Georgia Power accountable, where are Georgia's legislators to save their constituents? Well, as it turns out, the same week in December of 2023 that Georgia Power's lawyers were arguing in Georgia Power's interest to the PSC, in Washington, D.C., Southern Company, Georgia Power's parent company, held a lavish reception in D.C.'s Union Station, complete with an open bar, coat check, and fancy cocktails served on trays. Georgia legislators and their staff attended to shake hands with their friends over at Southern Company. Other than the free drinks and hors d'oeuvres, why would Georgia legislators be compelled to attend such an event? Well, since the 2018 election cycle, Georgia Power's parent company and its subsidiaries have donated $630,000 to Georgia's federal legislators. The law firm representing Georgia Power in the Plant Vogel case has donated $243,000 for a combined campaign contribution total of $873,000 to just 26 congressional candidates. Additionally, Southern Company spends about $10 million a year lobbying members of Congress. In 2024, they blew through $11.2 million. No conflict of interest to see here. This isn't just a story about a power plant, it's a story about power itself. Georgia Power's ability to offload billions in costs onto residents didn't happen in a vacuum. It happened because the system meant to regulate them is broken. Public service commissioners in Georgia serve 6-year terms, but recent elections have been delayed due to a federal lawsuit. As a result, Commissioner Tim Echols, last re-elected in 2016, has now served for 9 years without facing voters. That could change soon. 2 PSC seats, District 2 and 3, are up for election on November 4th, 2025. Echols will be seeking re-election in District 2. Here's Echols' pitch on why you should elect him.
We're going to freeze rates for 3 years. So you've got a Public Service Commission that listens to you, and that's why it's great to have a Public Service Commission that's elected. I hope you'll elect me.
Ironically, running in District 3 is newcomer Fitz Johnson, who was appointed by Governor Kemp in 2021 and has never stood for election. These races are usually low profile, but the stakes couldn't be higher. Your energy bill and who profits from it depends on it. But there are solutions. First, campaign finance reform is essential. As long as utility lawyers can bankroll the very regulators they appear before, accountability is a fantasy. Second, hold your regulators accountable. Show up to PSC hearings and voice your opposition. And finally, it may be time to rethink who provides our power. Public utilities, cooperatives, or other community-based models might offer more transparency, fairness, and control than large investor-owned monopolies. Because energy isn't just a commodity, it's a public need, and how we deliver it should serve the public good.